Welcome back to the weekly news roundup, and our first topic of the week. They want to destroy the human race. A good friend of mine who has since passed away we always used to talk sometimes a lot, and we'd talk for a while, and he'd always be like, who's they? Who's they? In fact, secondly, even asked in the comments, who's they? The elites? In this case, they would be the politicians. I originally was going to do the 3-letter agencies, but it extends further beyond those to the politicians, the government, and things like that. Because some things are going on right here that I haven't seen plots this crazy since Phineas and Ferb. Is that Dr. Dubinstein? Is that the guy's name? It's either that or Dr. Death or whatever. I don't know. We're going to see some wild stuff that the 3-letter agencies are letting go on, and I have no earthly idea why. But of course, it all starts with what they keep on doing to our automobiles, because people are really, really, really sick of a lot of these modern cars. Fresh Vintage could talk about this. Inside of these cars, we're like, I don't want all these things. I don't want all these buttons. I don't want all this stuff. But the problem is these car manufacturers are doing that because politicians are passing laws dictating it. For example, when I was helping Fresh Vintage out with one of his websites, he had blog posts. I had no idea those little TPMS systems in your tires, those are government mandated. Okay. And what's more curious, those things there, my gain is a little too high. I'm going to turn that down a little bit. I'm peaking, and I am trying not to peak. All right. And so those little TPMS modules, they're the tire pressure indicators. All of them have MAC addresses, and it is a trendy thing. In fact, Signal Trace is one of the things that can trace these things, and so they can tie you and the devices in the car to your tires because of the TPMS in your car. And this is a mandated thing. Was it every car after like 2008 or something had to have them? It is insanity. Absolute insanity. Of course, the latest one, I watched this vote happen just a few months ago, and we're not politically involved, and this is one of the downsides. I get called out, you're just a right-wing guy. Yeah, because I have to mention politics, we have to mention politics from time to time, because we're just running around like ostriches with our head in the sand going, it doesn't matter to me, I just hate politics, I'm not going to do nothing with politics. And then you whine and complain about all of the laws that are mandated. So all of these cars are getting all of these technologies because Congress keeps on mandating it. Even the car industry is pushing back at Congress going, dude, you wanted us to have a kill switch. We have no idea how to implement. Like, okay, this is a kill switch. It detects if you're drinking. What if you're the designated driver and you have a car full of drunks? Is the car going to be able to tell if it's you that's been drinking or the passenger that's been drinking? And so to Louis Rossman's amazing point, he says, you know what? If this technology is in my car, I am not going to ever be a designated driver because I don't want to be flagged as an alcoholic by my car because I chose to drive somebody home from the bar. Let them be on their own. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. But part of what these modern cars are doing is they're all embedding these infotainment systems that everybody hates. It's like I was watching some of these car things with these new car videos, and people are like, you got to go in and push like 6 buttons to get to your air conditioner. Like, how many times you're driving down the road? And I do this all the time. Former van lifer here, still have my van, decided I'm not going to sell it because I might want to jump in the van and take a 2-week road trip next week. Okay. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. You're driving down the road. Temperature could change. Slight fluctuations. I need to do the air conditioner. If it's a simple button like in the van or even my old car that I bought, I just push down and I slide a button, push a button, and boom, I have air conditioning. I turn it on. I can turn it off. These new cars, what, you want me to, you tell me I can't text and drive? You got to sit here and on a tablet while I'm speeding down the interstate at 90 miles an hour? What are you talking about? And it's nonsense. So these people like 6 clicks to get to the air conditioning. And sometimes you need to turn it on while you're driving. Sometimes you start driving in the morning and it's not particularly hot and you're still on the road and it's now blistering the temperatures and you're now fiddling around with a tablet in the middle of your car trying to figure out how to turn the air conditioner on so you don't boil to death or something, you know? So, of course, we all have these infotainment systems, and of course we have to put our cars on the internet for the stupidest reason in the history of the universe. Here's a funny thing. If your car is not on the internet, it can't be hacked. But guess what? It just happened. The first known instance of malware being distributed to the Android headless unit on your car. This one's great. Now, the article didn't specifically specify what's going on, but it looks as though the hack in this, the actual origin point hack, happens to be the OWA server. It's OWA? OTA server, the over-the-air server. So it basically goes in, and by the way, this article is security affairs. Y'all guys got to do better at security affairs. This article is AI generated, and you can tell because several of the paragraphs are actually repeated. It's kind of interesting. But effectively now, this hack is not really designed to take over your car and, put you into it's not going to turn your car into Christine here and start turning into this evil, crazy, and so with all of that, what this is actually going to do, it turns your car into a botnet. So yeah, now our cars, because they're perpetually on the internet, so, they can send all of our telemetry data back to the car manufacturer. Now that car is now part of a botnet. So, our car is going to be part of some, hacking situation, whatever else. And the other thing they're using it for, 2 things: turning your car into a botnet and running an ad server, because they can make a lot of money if they're serving you ads. So now you're driving down the road and your hacked infotainment center starts showing you ads for whatever it wants to show you. And I'm just like, oh, Lord. Now, how did this hack happen? The article did not specifically say this, but the way that these systems update themselves, the hack had to be at the central control server. So these cars are always connected to the central control server. The server says, hey, there's an update. And then the car goes out to that server to grab all of the updates. And it just turns out that somebody put a malicious headless Android file in there. So what gets installed through the channel is a dropper called jar service. It should be called car service if these guys were really thinking right. Carries 0 user interface and does nothing but decrypting and loading the next stage. So the next stage does a post request back to the API task every 90 minutes by default, containing information about the infected device, the display resolution, the device model, the SSID of the connected Wi-Fi network, the MAC address, and so on, along with the Trojan's configuration version. If the configuration is outdated, it simply updates the malware on your system. It's not amazing? The malware even has auto updates now. This is so wonderful. The main goal is not to attack or control the car. Instead, the hackers wanted to infect the car's internet connections as a part of a larger proxy network. This is what we talked about, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, with the televisions having these proxy networks allowing, companies to sell backdoor access to residential IP addresses to spread their malware like that. That's basically what they're doing. So it wasn't bad enough that your television now has all these apps that can turn your TV into a proxy server for all of the hackers. Now your car is the proxy server for all of the hackers as well. Isn't that wonderful? And so the way this happens is through the TW core checks whether an app is already installed on the device. When it installs, not exits equals false. The APK file is downloaded to TW's core external cache directory, push APK for the installation. So effectively, this central command server that tells your car there's an update to install itself has been compromised. And malware is in there. And so the hacker targets this and says, hey, look at this amazing thing. We can hack now 10 million cars worldwide at once through taking over the update server. So yeah, thanks to the government mandating all this nonsense in our modern cars, your car can now be part of the res proxy server and be sold to attack people through your car. So isn't that wonderful? All right, and on to Dr. Evil / Dr. Dubenstein's plan here. Dr. Dubenstein, is that the guy's name, by the way? I meant to look it up today. I forget. I just remember I've watched several episodes of Phineas and Ferb. I just can't remember. Somebody's got to correct me in the comments there pretty quickly here. But Dr. Dubenstein wants to display space mirrors to reflect light into places on the planet. This should have been like Sillyville, but Dr. Dubenstein's going to reflect the orbital giant beams which will shine as 10,000 full moons and scatter light over kilometers. I can't even believe this isn't even Sillyville yet, folks. The space mirrors are coming to illuminate us all. Now, while we were talking about this, in all seriousness, Doofenshmirtz. Okay, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Okay, that's his name. Got it. Thank you, Silver Adventures. All right, so Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Now, when we were talking about this, of course, one of our supporters is from Norway, and Norway has one of these. Of course, it's not a space mirror, but it is on a mountain, and they can use it to redirect sun into one particular historically relevant place. Of course, Norway is one of those places that has the midnight sun type stuff. And so there's some local applications, but the concern here is launching a mirror with a brightness of 10,000 full moons. Their justification, of course, but come on, man. Come on. What if you need to reflect light back down here because of a natural disaster? Dude, we have these amazing things. They're called lights. They're energy efficient and they're portable. If we can have 1 million people show up in January in the deserts outside of Quartzsite and all peacefully live off grid with their own RVs and their own internet and their own lights and a bunch of other things, I think we can manage some lights and natural disasters. We do not need Dr. Doofenshmirtz to reflect space mirrors with a light of 10,000 full moons down onto the planet. There are serious fundamental problems with doing this. And if you don't think there are, you have never experienced a solar eclipse, which would be kind of the opposite of this. Of course, a solar eclipse happens like once every, several years in any given area, and it lasts a very short period of time. And of course, it is a natural phenomenon. But I got a chance to put myself in the path of totality of 2 eclipses last year because van life, what else am I going to do? All right. One of them was the annular eclipse, of which I was camped right outside of Capitol Reef National Park. And then that following April, I came in here and I went up to Edinburgh, PA, where I used to work on the planetarium up there. And the planetarium director there was doing a big event, and we had I think we had 10,000 people there at the university, and we were out there talking about eclipses. It was on the local news and all that. And when we get down there and it's time for the total solar eclipse, it comes in and it basically looks like dusk out there. Bats start flying around, all sorts of everything seems to be the effect of nighttime, and day and night cycles are part of what God put here for the planet. This Dr. Doofenshmirtz wants to reverse that, be like, look at our technological advantages. We're going to put 10,000 full moons in the night sky and reflect them upon you. Which, by the way, if you look at these in a telescope larger than 12 inches, it will, as my friend says, fry your eyeballs out and burn you dead and kill you dead, okay? And so you gotta be kind of careful about this kind of stuff here. But this guy here, now, why is this they are wanting to destroy us? Because the FCC greenlit this. Our government agencies are like, you want to launch giant space mirrors and put the 10,000 full moons in the sun? All right, why not? I don't know, folks. I don't know. Their test one is going to be 18 by 18 meter mirror in orbit. The goal is to launch 50,000 of these satellites measuring 54 by 54 meters and reflect the sunlight on Earth on demand. Because Dr. Doofenshmirtz is crazy. Okay. They want to prolong hours of sunlight for various uses, including solar panel charging, emergency response, and military activities. Bomb them! Oh, Lord. Come on. Isn't it better to have darkness when you're planning this kind of stuff? I mean, there's a reason we took over that Venezuela dude at night, not in the daytime. You know what I mean? The problem is every single astronomer who's not brain dead has come out and said, yeah, this is a serious problem. There's no way you can do this and preserve dark skies, which is a fundamental problem. And then, of course, the Dr. Doofenshmirtz himself, the CEO of this company, is like, no, we did calculations. It ain't going to be that bad. Combining 400 satellites would reflect orbit eventually plans to do would yield the lightest, brightest 10,000 full moons within a 5-kilometer area, or 2.4% as bright as the sun, even up to 80 kilometers away. Him and his colleagues have calculated this combined beam would be visible as a glow above the horizon, he says. That means the night sky would be altered for many more people than those in the reflected area to illuminate. So effectively, the night sky disappears. And if you love the stars in the night sky like I do, this is a serious problem. So a critical point is that our safeguards, including maintenance and exclusion zones, and taking into account light scattering. You know that thing called light scattering? Did you account for that? No, Dr. Doofenshmirtz is too dumb for that. He just has a mind to put the space mirrors up there and control the light in the skies. You know. Reflect Orbital's intention to place the satellites into highly inclined orbits above the Earth, almost from pole to pole, will enable them to reflect sunlight in the hours before sunrise and after sunset, extending daylight in certain locations. And eventually, they said it wants to place satellites high enough to provide 24/7 light to certain locations on Earth. Because, you know, it's not bad enough. Like, these people are going to turn me into an environmentalist. This is crazy. So the group of organizations, including Dark Sky International, which I love that organization because they do a lot of things pointing out the problems with light pollution, and there are problems with it. It's a bigger problem in the east because of the humidity in the sky versus in the west where the dryness of the air does not allow the light to be carried as far. But still, you have to concern about, of course, the American Bird Conservatory, because the American birds, these birds, you're going to mess these birds up. You're going to cause serious problems in these birds, you know. And if we can't build some road on a national park road because of a frog or a fish, what do you think it's going to do when 50 kilometers of birds are screwed up? Yeah. So they are asking the FCC to review its approval. FCC's over going, there's some billionaire that paid us an under the table there, right? Something. Come on, man. We don't care. We got our money. Oh, my Lord. These guys might also turn me into a Democrat. I don't know. FCC does not have authority to license or regulate the operation of the solar reflector itself. It can only authorize the use of radio frequencies to communicate. So, yeah, they're like, yeah, we don't really have any authority. I don't know. If Dr. Doofenshmirtz does this, I am not going to be mad if China or Russia or India or some caveman somewhere launches missiles and blows up the satellites out of the sky. This is what's going on here. Makes me sad that astronomers are having to spend their time doing these sorts of calculations rather than doing astronomy. Yep. Yeah, somewhere in here there was a comment from the CEO of this company. Oh, yeah, here you go. Reflect Orbital CEO Dr. Doofenshmirtz, a.k.a. Ben Nowak. No comment. Disagrees with the findings of this paper. Like, the CEO of the company disagrees with the findings of the astronomers over space mirrors. He says, Some assumptions are simply inaccurate, he says. The critical point is that our safeguards, including maintaining exclusion zones, are taken into account for scattering. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's not bad enough, of course, we have to accelerate. We have to accelerate our drones, right? And now Amazon is aiming for delivery drones to reach 500 U.S. neighborhoods by the end of 2026. And what's not in the headline is 227, I think is the number, Walmart stores are going to have drones flying in and out of them to deliver same-day orders as well. The problem is these drones are really loud because they're carrying 5-pound packages. They have to be loud. One person who apparently is in their flight path because the drones have to fly back and forth said about 5 or 6 times an hour, what sounds like flying leaf blowers or flying over the house. And then there's the concerns about the cameras in these things. They say, the cameras are just for navigation. Yeah, until you work a backdoor deal with a flock. Let's not forget that this is Amazon who tried to work with flock already until they got some backlash. How long before they silently we'll just put the flock cameras on there because we're already flying them anywhere and it's useful data. It's all to keep people safe, folks. Come on. So Amazon wants to grow the Prime Air delivery drone service sixfold to 500 cities. Each Prime Air delivery drone service area within the area of 175 square miles of delivery time ranging from half an hour to an hour. Oh, Lord. I don't know. I just think we need to start passing laws about, if you own property, can you exclude a drone from flying over your property? Yeah, you fly a drone low across my property back here where I'm at in the middle of nowhere, you may not get your drone back. I'm just telling you. DoorDash is getting in on this as well. So the DoorDash is like, delivery drones, anything we can do to not pay human workers. Sure. Let's go with them. So they're jumping into it, of course. And of course, how does this fit into they want to destroy us? Because the FAA has to approve all of this stuff. The FAA is like, I know we have all these near misses, all sorts of plane issues, all sorts of problems, or sky's getting crowded up with all sorts of crazy stuff. Sure, let's just crisscross drones all over the place to deliver our useless consumer crap to us. 5-pound payloads at a time. God. Been community concerns about safety, privacy, especially noise pollution in neighborhoods serviced by drones. None of those issues are likely to go away as the U.S. companies ramp up delivery drone services nationwide with the regulatory approval of the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration. How wonderful. So as far as safety records, so Zipline apparently has the safest of them. They even have backup parachutes, which were actually deployed one time. Amazon Primes has had several safety incidents, oftentimes triggered FAA investigations, and also NTSB investigations as well. They tend to crash into things. This one crashed into a construction crane. Another one took down an overhead internet cable in Waco, Texas. Oh boy. Wing delivery drone is fulfilling Walmart's. I think Wing was Google's. I think Alphabet owns that one. So Google drones coming out of Wally World there. This one crashed and burned on grassy ground in Texas. Texas can be very dry. It'd be very sad if one of these delivery drones causes a forest fire somewhere because, you need to have your 5-pound crap today. Most common complaints about the drones are the persistent noise. Some of them describe hearing drones multiple times a day over their houses. This guy says it's the equivalent of drying a leaf blower or a lawnmower 20 feet over the house 50 times a day, he says. The dogs lose their mind and get upset. So there you go. Some Reddit users describing attempts to ask Amazon customer service to reroute drones around their house without any success. Of course, they're just an AI bot. Hey, AI bot, can you route that somewhere else? Nah, it's the quickest route. We need to bring back some drone bounties. All right. Residents from several neighborhoods in Richardson even held a public protest over the noise from prime air operations in June. Some people also voiced privacy concerns about having drones constantly fly or hover over their backyards. I was in my backyard sunbathing and I had like 4 drones go over my house, so I felt super creeped out and ended up going inside, says this person here. Amazon described its delivery drones as only using onboard cameras and sensors for navigation, obstacle detection, and dropping off packages without tracking individuals or recording people's movements. I mean, come on. That's what the flock attachments will do later. So, yeah, the government is empowering all this kind of stuff, from forced legislation, which is utterly nonsensical, to the 3-letter agencies are going, you want to launch a bunch of space mirrors up there that's going to fundamentally change the ecosystem of America or the whole world? Sure, why not? You know, he'll get up there and as a prank, he's going to shine giant spotlights on, like, you know, Putin's doorstep or something, and that'll be the end of that. Mutually assured destruction. He's like, I'm out. The world's over. Hit the nukes. We're done. In this world, I might kind of welcome it. Let me know if you welcome it too in the comments down below.